What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Desire and Decorum, guys. If you guys don't remember what happened in the last episode, our girl Miss Cinderella here is getting adjusted to her new life as a lady. We've met our father. We've met our wicked stepmother's son, who seems like he'll be all right. That girl he gonna marry, we don't like her too much. But we've met her. We've met the Duke, whatever he is, far too long ago. We've met the stable hand, the horses groomer. I don't know what he is. But he tends to the horses in the stable for the most part. Our best friend is here, and yeah, we've just kind of been enjoying it. Besides the fact that we have to meet a bunch of old women that we know, and we have to tell them all about our accomplishments or some crap. Who knows? But anyway. Let's just jump into the episode and see what is the tea with the story. Yeah. Let's just jump in. The next morning, you rush downstairs, clutch with your embroidery frame as you make your way towards the drawing room. I can't believe I'm late. You burst into the parlor and find a group of women embroidering. They fall silent as you enter the room, and Countess Heretta looks up from her embroidery hoop and takes in your disheveled appearance, sneering. Lady Cinderella, how nice of you to grace us with your presence at last. Perhaps next time a servant can wake you up at an appropriate hour? I know I'm late, and I offer my sincerest apology, but keep your opinions to yourself. I ain't gonna show my ass in front of all these women that I don't know. And I deeply apologize. I'm very sorry, ma'am, women, ladies, whoever y'all are. I pray you forgive me just this once. Don't let it happen again. Well, isn't this a splendid meeting, Lady Cinderella? We were just wondering if you'd be too embarrassed to come to our little gathering. But now that you're here, you must join us. We're gonna beat that whole ass before it's over. We're gonna beat her ass. I can see it. You look around the room and smile warmly at the other women gathered. It's a pleasure to meet you all. As Miss Sutton mentioned, I'm Lady Cinderella of Edgewater. If I may present myself, Miss Donna Bowen from one of the neighboring estates. Mrs. Sutton whispers to the lady next to her and loud enough for you to whisper. She's the Earl's bastard, remember? Oh, how delightful of you to join us, Lady Cinderella. I've heard so much about you. Oh, and over here is Miss Annabelle Parson of the Hazelvale Manor. Oh, that's the girl who, what's the name? You'll flirt with her a little bit. Say, you're the beauty I met before. Mrs. Parson smiles firmly and her cheeks turn a bit red. I was wondering when I would have the chance to properly meet you. I suppose you didn't have to wait long. You sit down next to Parson and begin delicately weaving your needle through the tapestry, and the Countess looks between the two of you. You are familiar with each other? I briefly ran across Lady Cinderella coming from tea with Miss Sutton yesterday. So I did hear voices in the hall. I thought the house was haunted. I even said to Mr. Mulcaster, but he told me it was complete babble. Oh, that reminds me. Have you heard? You should simply not believe it. I told you. But the Viscount Westland will be in London this season. But his wife died only a month ago. Indeed. Now he's searching for his fifth wife. Fifth? Lord Jesus. Fifth? What happened to the other four? Me. His fifth wife. What happened to the other ones? Y'all all excited to marry him and his wife dying like this? Don't like that. How did it go again? Childbirth, consumption, childbirth, carriage crash? Oh, no, that can't be right. Perhaps it was died, beheaded, divorce. Or was it divorce, beheaded, died, beheaded, divorce, survived? Shout out to the six. I want to see that so bad, y'all. As Miss Sutton muses along and Miss Parson speaks in hushed tone next to you. How are you enjoying your stay at Edgewater, Lady Cinderella? My stay is better than I could ever dreamed of. Has been challenging, courtesy of my dear family. Looks better after meeting an alluring lady like you. We didn't want to come off like too pushy. So we'll say, it's better than I could have dreamed of. That's no surprise. Your father, at least, has always been very generous to me over the years. Although I can't say the same about the Countess. Her heart could snuff out the hottest fire. But you didn't hear that from me. Miss Parson, if I may ask, I wondered. Lady Cinderella, Miss Parson, I'm sorry our conversation is too dull for you, although whatever you're preoccupied with seems lively enough. If you're going to whisper, I only ask you speak loud enough for the rest of us to hear. I'm positive I could add something to the conversation. No, you couldn't. No, the fuck you couldn't. I do hate being left out. I'm sorry, Sutton. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to exclude you. This is a private conversation. This is an AB conversation. So see your way out of it. I'm sorry to make you feel excluded. Sorry. That wasn't our intent. We were just talking, honestly. We were simply getting to know each other. Oh, I see. You're quite forgiven, but I do wish to know you as well, Lady Cinderella. Well, I think we're all excited to become more familiar with you. Oh, I'll be certain to keep that in mind. And Miss Parson, pray, how are you acquainted with my family? Oh, I was actually betrothed to your brother Harry before his hunting accident. Oh, shoot. Now we finna steal our dead brother's girl. Pimp. They don't call me a PIMP for nothing. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry you had to endure that. Perhaps your luck will turn around soon. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. It was difficult, but I've made peace since. I miss him dearly. He was such a good friend to me. We were practically inseparable growing up. Harry was such a bright star. You would have made a lovely couple had you wed. Much like myself and Mr. Marcaster, but a shorter engagement. Ew. I wish I could have met him the way Father and you all speak of Harry. But you can't. He's gone, and no one can change what happened. The Countess huffed, stabbing her embroidery forcefully. Now let's change subjects. I've grown weary of this conversation. You've grown weary of your son who died? Did she kill him? Are we about to uncover a mystery? Did she kill her son? And I read a new novel. I can't recall its name, but it takes place in a village called Highbury. And my Lady Cinderella, where on earth did you learn to sew? You do fine work with a needle, but you're embroidering, not stitching, clothes back together. You glance to your side and see the Countess craning her neck to get a better view of your work. My mother was a seamstress for a living. Ah, yes, how clumsy of me to forget. It's so kind of the Earl of Edgewater to take in someone so beneath us. My lady, you should take her under your wing as you've done with me and Miss Parson. Please. I'm here because of my relationship with Countess Herodia's late son, not because of her due diligence, whatever. However, you can raise an excellent point, my dear Miss Bowen. We must treat our less fortunate sisters with more respect than they deserve and give them aid where possible, such as Lady Cinderella. My lady, how generous you are. It's a shame your own skills are lacking. Don't act as if I'm not sitting right here. It's a shame your own skills are lacking. I beg your pardon, Lady Cinderella. While my sewing skills may not be accomplished as the other young ladies here, I have time to grow at least. Look at your... Is that supposed to be a flower? However, the case may be you have a long way to go. Unfortunately, I doubt the time to refine your craft is there. Yeah, bitch, shut your mouth. Everyone's so grim and serious suddenly. I declare we simply must lighten this sour moods with some music. Excellent idea, Miss Sutton. Perhaps Lady Cinderella can encourage her with her piano frontier skills we must have learned growing up. Oh no, she must know I can't play. That's very generous, round lady. But the truth is, Miss Parson noticed you screaming in your seat and suddenly stands up. I learned a new piece I would love to share with you all. Oh, yes, you're a delight to listen to, Miss Parson. I've said to Mr. Clarkster before to simply marvelous. Why does she call her husband by his first name? I would not sit there and call my man Mr. What's his name? Sir, thank you, Miss Sutton. The new piece I would be much better with vocals, though. I don't believe my own voice would do it justice. Perhaps Lady Cinderella, would you do me the honor and assist me in song? Accommodate Miss Parson on this during and get to know her better. We ain't got no gems. Next time. You play alone. Next time. I appreciate the offer, but I would rather observe this afternoon. Very well. Miss Parson walks over towards the piano front, and you and the other ladies turn to watch her play. Her fingers dance up and down the ivory key, keying in a harmonized tune. After a few minutes, Miss Parson finishes the song, and you clap enthusiastically along with the other men as Mrs. Parson returns to her seat beside you. That was splendid, Miss Parson. I've never heard such a beautiful sound before. Perhaps next time you'll join me. My dear, that would require Lady Cinderella to display some actual talent. Pay no attention to her, per usual. Count Henrietta is only jealous. You return Miss Harson's bright smile. Meanwhile, Miss Sutton and Miss Bowen have returned to their gossiping. And then I saw Mr. Sinclair here at Edgewater yesterday. Again? I met him just as I arrived, in fact. Not only that, but he gave me a tour of the gardens. I'm sure he was enthralled to spend the afternoon with someone so well with you. He was a very gracious guide. But don't you think that Mr. Mark Claster is much more handsome? I had the very thought when I saw Mr. Sinclair when I was taking my tea yesterday. And here we go again, another day, another Mr. Sinclair visit. Mrs. Person, I wanted to hear the latest about Mrs. Sinclair. It is always like this? It's always like this? Good gracious, no. Sometimes Miss Sutton informs us about Mr. McClurson's latest news, not Mr. Sinclair's visits. Honestly, I'm glad I'm no longer the only sane one around. It's so tiresome not having someone to banter with during this insatiable gossip session. My pleasure, Miss Parson. Whatever happened to Mr. Chambers' friend, Mr. Bride used to follow them everywhere, but I haven't seen him since Hazelvale Ball months ago. How disappointing. Mr. Bride was such great company. He must have flown off. Yes, I wonder. And while this has been fascinating, I'm afraid Miss Sutton and I are expecting to have tea with Mrs. Beazle. Come along. The Countess rises from her seat and the other women follow suit. Mrs. Parson dwells back, catching you alone. I'm glad we finally had the chance to meet Lady Cinderella. The Earl of Edgewater has been so excited ever since he knew you were coming. You were everything I hoped you would be and more. Thank you, Mrs. Parson. I can already tell we'll be good friends. We'll be very close. We'll be very close. Trying to get with you, girl. That is my deepest wish. Perhaps we'll be able to play a duet on the piano front together next time. That would be require me to know how to play. There's one in the East Wing. I used to play it when I called on Harry. I'm sure you can take it as yours to practice on, but I wouldn't know where to even begin. I've never even tried to play one. That'll be easy to fix. I can give you a few lessons. I have a feeling you'll be a quick study, and that should certain to surprise Countess Harita next time she tries to shame you. Add the beyond for prey to your unlocks and increase your... What do you want to do? Yeah? Ugh. I gotta pay for stuff. Alright, so we're gonna take the piano lessons. I would be indebted to you forever if you taught me how to play. Consider it my way of showing gratitude for keeping me company in the sewing circle. And you followed Miss Parson to the piano and sat beside her. One of the key elements when playing the piano frontier is proper posture. You want to make sure your wrists are not too high or too low. You place your hands on the keys, mimicking Mrs. Parson. Like this? Yes, that's perfect. The scale on the piano goes as such. This is C, D, E. Over several hours, Miss Parson continues teaching you the basics. I think I'm beginning to get it. You are a natural. You're acquainted. Later that afternoon, you walk around the estate lawn and your head buried in a book from the library. Poor Laura, fortune clearly does not smile upon her. Self-Control by Mary Burton. Any good? You jump at the sound of Mr. Harper's voice. Looking up, you spy him only a few feet away, leading a horse behind him. Oh, Mr. Harper, forgive me, I didn't see you approaching. I didn't see you either, Clover. Apologize, my lady. I didn't mean to give you a fright. After years of working with horses, you lead to tread lightly. Mr. Harper, don't let it happen again. It's all right. I'll manage. Your company makes it worth it. Your company makes it worth it. If ever fright includes seeing you, I wouldn't mind so much. Neither would I. It means I would see more of you. Although I'm sure other young ladies would prefer not to be disturbed while engrossed in novels. Did that not occur to you previously? I must admit, I've come across similar situations before. Countess Harita is not one to walk about the lawn and read. Maybe she should. She might not be so cross then. But then again, that would mean I would see her out here. You could always pop by the stables again in that case. I wouldn't mind the company. Sorry, we wouldn't mind the company. Well, if Clover insists, I might have to. I believe she's taken a liking to you. You glance at Mr. Harper and catch him staring. You tuck a loose piece of hair behind your ears, looking away bashfully. She's not the only one. Lady Cinderella, I wondered if... Ugh. The horse sneezed suddenly. The two of you turned towards her, laughing. I believe someone wants your attention. So if it would seem. Until we meet again, Lady Cinderella, enjoy your book. You watch Mr. Harper lead Clover away and notice your father approaching from the house. Ah, Cinderella, Miss Daly says you took a turn about the estate to read. May I interrupt you for a second? As if you have to ask, father. You smile and take hold of your father's arms as the two of you stroll across the yard. You seem to be getting along with Mr. Harper earlier. I find him very delightful. Good to hear. He's been a master of horses for a little over a year now, yet I can barely recall what it was like before we took him on. The two of you come to a stop outside the front door. The Earl takes your hand, looks at you intently, taking a deep breath. Is something wrong, father? Quite the opposite. In fact, I've been trying to find the right words to tell you. I've already made the arrangements in a few days, and I will be hosting a garden party here at Edgewater in your honor. So what now? That for me, that's very generous. Too much to accept. That's very generous. I don't know how I can find the words to thank you. Your presence is all the things I need. You smile and kiss your father's cheek. Then you have my word, I'll be there. Your father squeezes your arm as the two of you continue your walk. No, tell me about your day. I hope the calendars wasn't too difficult at the morning sewing circle. Well, to start, that evening, you sit at your bedroom vanity, recounting your day to Breyer as she fixes your hair for dinner. Riddle me this. Why do nobles feel like they must get together and sit around to sew? I mean, do they even create anything useful? I'm working on a tapestry and Miss Bowen was working on a pillowcase. Well, if you ask me, I think your time would be better served creating bonnets or baskets. At least then you'll be able to show your talent to someone. Perhaps I'll work on a small handbag next, just for you. Miss Parson was working on one herself this afternoon. Oh, tell me about Mrs. Parson. I haven't met her yet. She was quite a breath of fresh air compared to the rest of the ladies. In fact, Miss Parson had some fantastic snide remarks. Saved me from a world of embarrassment, taught me how to play the piano frontier. She has some fantastic remarks. I feel as if it's been ages since I've smiled so much. Well, Mrs. Parson sounds like a delight. I hope to meet her soon. Just then you hear a knock at the door, and the downwards Countess enters. Breyer softly whispers, I'll give you two some privacy. Breyer curtsies to you and your grandmother before shuffling off, and the downwards Countess sits on the edge of the bed. Grandmother, what honor do I have to thank for this visit? Shouldn't you be at a sewing circle today? Shouldn't you have been at circle today? What honor do I owe this visit? I have the most splendid news. I've just been informed that this Grace, the esteemed Duke Tristan Richards of Carlington, will be attending your garden party. Duke Richards? Should I have heard of him? Like, for real. Well, my dear Cinderella, he's wealthy, influential, handsome, and a very smart match as one of the most eligible bachelors in all of England. There she go with these most eligible bachelors. The Duke of Carlington sounds promising, proud, above my statutes. Promising. We'll give her that. I haven't met him, but consider me interested. Intrigued. Perfect. I knew you'd be a deem to meeting him. I've always found the Duke an agreeable gentleman. Your grandmother stands behind you, placing her hands on your shoulders and looking at your reflection in the mirror. However, you need to be ready to meet all these esteemed men, even if not everyone will be at the garden party. I know you're acquainted with Mr. Sinclair, but there's the Duke, the Viscount Wesley, and so many more. She like, listen, don't put your eggs in that basket. We ain't gotta have him. We can get you a couple. We can get you a couple men out here. I love that. What exactly must I prepare myself? You must master the art of flirtation, Cinderella, and a fan could be your best weapon. Honestly, a fan? A true woman knows how to communicate volumes with a simple flick of her wrist. Show a suitor you're interested or that he doesn't stand a chance. I can teach you the secret art and inform you all about the men you'll soon encounter. We can start practicing right now if you'd like. Girl, no. I done paid y'all once. Y'all not getting paid 3 times. I can forge my own path at the garden party. I have a few things I prepared to do before dinner. If you insist, I'll leave you to finish getting ready. As your grandmother heads down, she pauses at the doorframe and turns back to you. But remember, it is imperative that you make a good impression at the garden party. Your future, your reputation, the reputation of the entire Edgewater estate rely on it. Lady grandmother, I will not let you down. Nothing could possibly go wrong. We would never say that. Exactly what I like to hear. Your grandmother smiles to herself as she leaves, and you look at your reflection in the mirror. Just a simple gathering in a few days for me. It should be fine. I can handle that, right? All right, guys, that's all that I got for you today. Next episode, we are going to experience a garden party, which should be interesting. Hopefully by next week, I will have some of the episodes back up. I may have to read this probably next Monday too for Amor Loco, because it's going to probably take me like a few days to get back to where we were for Amor Loco. All the other ones I should be back within no time, because we were only like 5-6 episodes deep. But anyway, guys, that is all I have for you today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.